Hello and welcome back to my channel. I was thinking it could be really fun to talk about healthy routines that I personally have found to be really helpful, and that going back into a new school year, I am planning to be intentional about keeping in my routine. It's definitely always a little bit hard to transition from summer break into a school year and be like, okay, but I'm still gonna journal every morning. I'm gonna do yoga. I'm gonna meditate. I wanna do all these things. But my time gets a little bit more limited, especially because the most important thing I want to make sure I'm doing and being very intentional about is the sleep I get at night. I am the kind of person, like, if I don't get at least 7 hours of sleep, I have a really hard time, one, maybe being focused during the day. It definitely takes a little more effort for me to make sure my mindset and overall, mental clarity throughout the day is on a more positive note. So yeah, sleep is gonna be the #1 priority for me, which means there are possible limitations in my morning routine because I have what I call clock time, thanks to Eckhart Tolle, where I do need to be out the door by a certain time, and it's early. I have this long list of things that, over summer break, I like to get done every morning. I like to spend a certain amount of time reading. I like to spend time journaling. I like to spend time doing some stretching and some yoga and meditation, maybe some breathing exercises if I can. And I also have nighttime routines that I will definitely be intentional about keeping as well. So we'll talk about all those things, and I'll give you kind of an idea of how I'm fitting everything into my schedule or rearranging a little bit. First and foremost, every morning, I do some form of skincare. It always includes serum, moisturizer, and gua sha. And I've really been trying to not necessarily limit what I put on my face, but maybe have less steps in that routine, because it can take a little bit if you're putting on multiple things as far as your skincare goes. I love Primally Pure. I will always talk about how amazing their products are. So I do use their plumping serum as my one serum that I put on my face. I don't do serum and oil or anything like that. And then I do have a moisturizer that I love, and I will always do like a serum and moisturizer. It's not that hard to put on a serum and then put on a moisturizer and then gua sha over that. So that's typically my routine for skincare, but I might not, get to sit and do it for as lengthy of a time, but as long as I'm doing that, I'm doing the gua sha for lymphatic drainage, it does help me just feel like I'm getting my day started on a good note, but it's also a good thing to be doing for my skin every day. And that's really important to me. So that is something that, is healthy and I will keep as a part of my routine. And something I've found to be very helpful in that is kind of to use it as a meditative practice, because it is inherently very relaxing. And so I've started to kind of combine my 5 to 10 minute meditation into also maybe breathing during that lymphatic drainage moment. And, I don't put anything on, no podcast. I really don't go on my phone until I have made it downstairs to make my morning tea. So I don't have any input until that moment. My phone is still off. I am just kind of meditating, trying to really ground myself and be present while I am doing my skincare routine. So that's a personal way that I have found I can be a little bit more efficient when it comes to time, because I do not want to wake up earlier than I have to. And then I can get on with the morning routine. The next thing that I'll do every day, I've been doing it every day for the last couple of years, is have herbal tea in the morning. And something I realized I could do last year that was really helpful for me is to take kind of a wellness shot instead of a tea, like a specific tea. I every so often pre-batch fresh ginger and turmeric juice with fresh lemon juice. I mix that all up. I put it in ice cube molds, and then every morning I pop one of those molds into my mug, pour some hot water over it, and boom, I have my tea. So it's super simple. I've managed to streamline it, so it's about once every 2 to 3 weeks sometimes that I am prepping that, so it's not too often. I don't feel like it's too much of a time-consuming activity now that I've kind of gotten it down and I know what I need to do. It's something I can do on a Friday night or Saturday or Sunday morning, and so that has been something that has been super helpful for me. Also, I work with little ones. It has really good anti-inflammatory properties. It's really good for your immune system. So that is something that I highly recommend if you have like a wellness kind of thing you can do every morning, or take your vitamins or whatever. That is something I'll do. Another thing I'll do actually before I drink that is take my daily symbiotic. I do the seed pre and probiotic. I've been doing that for 2 years now. I'm not sure if my code still works. I used to be an ambassador for them. I'll put my code in case you're interested in a new pre-probiotic. Fun fact about that is I will not stop doing that. I do notice how good it is for my body because there have been times where I've run out and my shipment hadn't come in, or like when we were traveling this summer, I didn't have enough and I went to the store and got just a generic probiotic that, you know, seemed to have really good ingredients. I researched it, but for my body did not do me any good. It did me bad. And I was really grateful to come back and get back into the routine of my seed. So that is something I also do every morning in terms of like supplements. And then in terms of more mindset and being intentional about that, it is a goal of mine to read. Maybe I can't do it every day, especially in those early mornings, but if I can, Mark was even saying, like, even if you just read for 2 minutes, like do 2 pages of the book that you're reading. Right now I'm in The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle and I'm really enjoying it. He also has the audiobook. So if I can't make the time to sit and read in the mornings, I am going to listen to the audiobook while I'm getting ready. That is something I have found to be so helpful, whether I'm putting on, you know, kind of mindfulness centered audiobook or like spiritual growth type of podcast. I love the Michael Singer podcast. Then I will do that while I get ready instead of putting on a show or music or YouTube. If it is music, I prefer like a lo-fi or ambient music just to kind of to get my mindset on a track where I'm not like taking in input. I'm not listening to lyrics. I'm not, you know, evoking maybe emotions that bring up certain memories or anything. Like I'm really trying to be present. And so those are the kinds of things I like to do when I'm getting ready. And I do notice they help set my day up a lot more productively. And I just feel like I can be more present when I do those things. Definitely will be doing that. And I will link all these things I'm talking about. I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but I'm going to link these in my description. So that way, if you're interested in checking out what I'm talking about, you can do that. I like to journal every day. Now, sometimes I do this in the morning, definitely over summer break. Like I like to read and then journal because I like to reflect on what I've read about, or I like to do a gratitude list before I go into my reading. What I've realized during the school years is that making it a priority to journal doesn't mean that I have to force myself to do it in the morning if it is stressing me out more. That's not the point of the gratitude journal that I've created. I have decided that if I do it, I'm going to do it once a day, whether it's in the morning or at night. I used to be very regimented with doing it once in the morning and once at night. And again, I found that that was stressing me out more and it was actually pulling my focus from the point of journaling. My goal is always to do it once a day to bring myself just that focus, that presence. And what I have noticed, I've been doing it at night now for a couple weeks. I fall right to sleep after I do it. It does something so good for my mind. That is definitely something that I am going to pull from my morning routine and keep in my nighttime routine just to help me keep that healthy practice up. But I'm also able to stick to my schedule in the morning. I do enjoy doing some form of like a 5-minute yoga routine every morning. And so that is something that even again, if it has to be 2 minutes, that's fine. But as long as I do some solid stretches just to get my body moving. I usually like to do this either while my tea, like my water is brewing, or I will do it right before I start getting my face together and all of that. Because again, that gives me that time to kind of pull in that meditation, pull in that breathing. And it helps my morning feel like it's a little bit slower and relaxed, even though I am trying to stick to a schedule and get out the door by a certain time. I might vary it up a little bit, but I will do stretches at night, and I specifically do ones. I found this on Pinterest a little while ago. Like there's certain stretches that you can do that help you before you go to bed and they help your sleep. And so I've been doing that, and I do feel like that plus journaling plus doing some breathing exercises. I feel like I'm sleeping better when I do those things, especially all 3. All of these are things that, you know, I'm not going to make myself do a full 30 minutes. If I just, you know, if it's 10 o'clock and I really want to be in bed, then I'm going to do 2 minutes of stretches, maybe 1 round of my breathing, and then a quick 10 things I'm grateful for journal, and, you know, lights out. But I'm making the time to do it and I'm being intentional while I'm in those moments, whether it's for 2 minutes or 30 minutes. I think that's the point. It's like being present in the moments you're doing it and not rushing through it for the sake of doing it. Does that make sense? So that's really where the intention lies for me in all of these healthy things. You know, I really do enjoy slow mornings. I've always said this, it really is so special to me to be able to sit in my house and take it all in and be present and do these things. But it's also important for me to realize where I'm at in the moments that I'm doing it and not focus on the amount of time I get to do them. Does that make sense? So I am really excited to be very mindful when integrating all of these things into my new normal, my daily routine, as I am getting settled back into the school year. So I hope that you found these things helpful or inspirational for you. My routines don't have to be your routines. You get to take from this what maybe sounds like it works for you. And if none of this feels like it resonates with you and your routines or how you get your mindset right, that's fine. I just wanted to kind of shed some light on how I go about it and what my thought process behind building these things into my daily routines, having these habits that I do and why they work for me, like why that is important to me. So thank you for watching. As always, I'm so grateful that you're here and I cannot wait to see you next.